This is such a great race.
This is going to be mighty, mighty close. Oh, goodness me.
Perfect.
Wow, what a race.
E1 Series is the world's first electric powerboat racing championship. We race electric boats in some of the world's most glamorous locations, like here in Miami. We knew that when we started this, that capturing fans when they're young was going to be really critical to building a sport for the future. So creating immersive experiences where young people can be involved in the product was going to be critical to our growth.
With the E1 series, what we have done at Badass is we create a digital copy of the entire environment that the race is taking place in Unreal Engine. And then we recreate the RaceBirds, the boats. And as the race is happening, we take the live data from the race and map them onto the Unreal Engine environment. And then that way, the race is going absolutely in parallel with no lag. And we can use that environment to do various things from broadcasting to live gaming.
Unreal's been the bedrock. There was just no question in terms of where we want to invest our time, efforts, and especially acquiring talent. We are looking at putting these environments together in the space of about 2-3 weeks. And it's not just a room or a small site. We're developing sometimes cities. We first start off by using a tool called Cesium. When we're bringing in our Google Earth data, then we know everything is scaled correctly and should be in the right place. Then comes the data part.
So we work with partners like Alchemel Systems. They do the telemetry, GPS, anything that we can read from the raceboat.
And that's where we're working with our partner Moses to deliver the real-world camera tracking. And then essentially, we're making that live data tick in Unreal Engine in real time.
And similarly, we get a camera feed from our partner Aurora Media. We're then able to position all of the sponsorship and the branding that you see in the broadcast.
Once we've got those elements together, then we can start having fun with it. And when you're thinking about performance, being able to do that on a large scale, that is where Unreal Engine with Lumen, Nanite, and especially the new virtual shadow maps, where we can really get a nice, clear CG scene, but still meet our constant 50 frames per second in broadcast.
Racing is a live animal. Things change, conditions change, weather conditions change. Sometimes the track changes, sponsorships get added because this is a growing racing series. And so we have to really be able to react very quickly. And with Unreal Engine, we can build all of these elements very fast and then implement them almost on the fly as we are at the race. Once the digital twin is built, we can use the entire environment to give, for example, a top-down view and an overview of where the boats are, where the positions are. And then when we want to use the real broadcast footage, we delete the environment and we're still left with all the branding, all the sponsorships and the tracking of the boats. So that gives us an augmented reality layer without having to build something separately.
So the first imperative for using AR in our broadcast product was to be able to give our sponsors visibility. We're trying to be a sustainable series, so we don't want to be floating huge inflatable bits of advertising on the water.
We can actually just take a AR camera feed and we can start placing the sponsor branding in places that you probably otherwise wouldn't be allowed to. You can place them draped across buildings, or you can sort of have them interacting in the environment. So you're able to get really creative.
We can move partnership branding around in our product really quickly on the fly, which means that if we spot that there's an area of the track which is getting more coverage, we can move the important branding to that part of the track.
Thanks to the fact that we already have this perfect digital twin in Unreal, we can then use it not just for the AR and VR broadcast, but also for gaming. So here on site, we have a couple of simulators and we've added game mechanics so that people can actually race the E1 series, so they can race against each other in multiplayer. And because we have all of the environment and we know where the boats are, we bring that data live into the game. And then when the player is sitting in the simulator, they actually race against the boats as the race is happening out on the water.
It's such an incredibly cool experience to be taking part virtually in the race. You see the smile on people's faces when they can compete with the athletes on the water.
We're getting to the detail now where real-world pilots can now start to use it to actually train their skills, which can better translate into their skills in the real world.
Unreal Engine has been very good for us. We've been able to create things at great speed. What we want to do is we want to enable people to experience the race in various ways, from broadcasts, going into live gaming, and then to release the game as a proper game also on the marketplace. One of the things that we're looking forward very much is to release the RaceBirds into Fortnite and then race around the Fortnite islands.